This is Soulful Living Radio, inspiring stories and expert guests to help you get out of your head and into your heart. With your host, Lisa James.
Hey everybody, welcome to Soulful Living Radio. I'm super excited about my guest today, Dana Garced, and she is a meditation mentor and an I Ching mentor. Over the past decade, her own personal journey has led her to many healing modalities, and she even earned her degree in Chinese medicine, which I think is super cool. And through her one-on-one meditation mentoring, intuitive I Ching readings, and monthly moon rituals as well, she helps others transform their own lives through the power of meditation and the I Ching. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you. It's so great to be here with you. And I even feel your sacred space radiating into my space. It's beautiful.
We're totally communing in our sacred spaces. I love it. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with this, with I Ching and meditation, and how you went from where you sort of came from to where you are now. How did that all happen?
Yeah, so I feel like similar to a lot of people in the healing realm, it all starts with, our own journey and our own personal healing path. So for me, that sort of started, I guess in college is when I really became cognizant that I wanted to heal some aspect of my life, but I was always super shy. I was always struggled with anxiety to a degree, but didn't know that in high school. It was sort of one of those things, high school's tough years. You're learning about yourself. So I always knew that I had this like weird feeling a lot, but it wasn't until later that I'm like, oh, not everyone feels that, that much anxiety. I have memories of like playing softball and like every moment, like, oh, I hope no one's looking at me. I hope, just being in my head all the time.
Yes.
So yeah, in college was really when like I started noticing it more. Little issues that I had, I'd complain to people or talk about to people, and they're like, "That's not really that big of a thing," And then I ended up having this like big breakdown in college. I was going to school in New York City too, so I mean, anybody that's lived in a city or New York City, there's so much external stimulation, and so it's a noisy, difficult place to be if you have any of those anxiety issues anyway. But I'm grateful for that moment of sort of breakdown, because I was like, life shouldn't feel this hard, like I think it was, a boyfriend cheated on me, but it's college, it wasn't even that big of a deal, to be honest. But like I couldn't go to class. I had to skip a friend's wedding. I was supposed to give a speech.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I just can't, because I didn't have my stuff together. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse here. So.
Yes, curse. We fully embrace cursing here. Yes.
Shit together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so silly. Like if I can't deal with these, somewhat petty things in the whole realm of life, like I'm never going to get to where I want to be in life. I'm never going to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So that's really where the journey began. And then I just became a sponge for everything I could absorb of healing, holistic healing. So, I studied so many different modalities, and I eventually, that led me to then going to school for Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Because I just love the philosophy of holistic healing, which is a little different than allopathic medicine. We know both have their place, but I really liked that, the body as a whole and treating the root causes and mind, body, spirit, all, being connected. So I loved that. So that was sort of the path. I went that way. And then through that, the I Ching, which is like one of my favorite spiritual tools. You do tarot, right?
I do tarot. Yeah, exactly.
I
know. So I said I Ching, but it's I Ching. I pronounced it wrong.
I learned it as I Ching.
Okay, I Ching. I will correct myself
but
now.
Everyone else says I Ching. So,
yes, and a lot of people say tarot is tarot. Like it's so funny. Anyway, yeah, tarot. Yeah.
So I basically, it's an ancient Chinese oracle system and wisdom book. So through Chinese medicine, I had an elective on it, and I was just like, this will be a fun class. Little did I know the impact that it would have on me. It was profound. So between doing the I Ching and even my own personal path has been meditation. So that whole time I was struggling with anxiety and trying to heal myself with the other stuff. The meditation was always the baseline of what I did. I was always delving into different types of meditation practices. So at the end, those are the two things that have really had the most profound effect on my healing path. So those are the main the main things that I do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and what I bring to my clients. Although I've studied so many different things, so it's great because then I could always say, well, this would work for you, and bring it all together. But I'm always learning, always. I feel like I'm a student for life. I guess we all are, right?
Me, exactly. And I think so many people in my community, probably yours too, that we're all these like constant learners. We just want to learn all the things. That's I so relate to that. I want to learn everything, but we gravitate towards one or two that's kind of in our, our majors, I guess you could say. So then from what I remember reading about you, you had one time had an acupuncture business on a beach somewhere. Yes. But even then you still felt like something was missing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So yeah, I was living in San Diego at the time, and we had a space. It was a wellness healing space. So I was doing holistic skincare and acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
So I do remember specifically, I had a client that came in for the holistic skincare, and I was doing that, and I asked her for a testimonial for my website. And she came back, and it was just funny because at the time it was skincare. She had come to see me for many sessions. I was like, her skin looks great. Like, I hope that's what she wants, convey in her testimonial. She was like, she came every week too. I almost was like, you don't need to come that much, but she wanted to. What she said was in the testimonial was that she comes and I heal her soul, or like something to that. She was like,
Whoa.
my soul is healed in these sessions. And I was and she didn't mention the skin at all, right?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. I started noticing that I was attracting these people to me that were there to talk, for me to listen. I mean, even now I've studied some coaching, and that is a lot of what goes into my sessions too, even especially with the I Ching. It's a lot about, letting people come to their own answers and figure their own stuff out, letting their own intuition bubble up. And it's just us holding space for it, asking the right questions, So that's more what I was doing in my sessions. So I sort of got away from the needles. Not that acupuncture isn't powerful, but I sort of got away from all the physical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now all my sessions are more virtual. I do some in person, but we're working on more the emotional, mental space, spiritual, emotional, mental space now. And I love it.
I love that you said that I Ching and tarot and those types of modalities. I find the exact same thing in my business, and same thing. I took a life coaching because I felt like I was already starting to do that with people, and I felt like I needed a little more to be able, a little more of a skill set, just because I was already, people were wanting tarot readings, but it wasn't ever just a tarot reading. It was so much more. So I love that. So tell me, when you finally decided, okay, I'm going to hang up my shingle, I'm going to be the I Ching practitioner and meditation mentor. Did your inner critic at all go, everybody's doing it? Did anything come up for you, and how did you navigate around that?
Yes. So I feel like we all have, those beliefs that we carry around with us, and there's probably some themes that we all share, but I feel like everybody has, maybe their own specific one. Mine is always, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
We hate that one.
And that
Yeah.
comes up. I know.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So and just the mirroring through clients, through friends. So that's helping me a lot now, because I see how far I've come. In the beginning, I couldn't charge for my I Ching services because I was like, this is something I use for myself. Like, I love it. It's transformed my life. But, I don't really know if this is going to help someone else or if they should pay me for it. So I did it a lot in the beginning for friends for free.
Mm-hmm.
And, it felt good in the sense that inner critic wasn't as loud because it's free. What's there to lose, right?
That's right.
I get all this amazing feedback, and, they were getting such great results. And then at one point, it didn't feel like a good energetic exchange anymore to do free. So then I'm like, all right, let me add money to that. The moment I started charging, it was like $50 at the time, that inner critic was screaming, like, who are you to charge for this?
Mm-hmm.
You school for acupuncture, not the I Ching. And, so that was really interesting when you add money and that energetic exchange. But, now my sessions are $127, and that feels aligned for me. This is all just numbers we make up anyway. It doesn't really matter, but it's just interesting how you can see your beliefs at work when you add that element. So yeah, it's always that, like, not good enough. And seeing someone else doing something, comparing, but we just have to use our own tools, come back. And that's where the meditation comes in too, because being consistent with my meditation practices, that really helps me, kind of nip that ego, that fear voice, and really come from the place of my soul and my intuition, where I know, I stand in my worth. I know that, I'm whole. Whatever I am feeling I can do, all of those kind of other end of the beliefs, the love.
Me too. And I love, there's so much in there I love that I want to talk about. So number one, I love that you mentioned that money is I talk to this about to clients all the time who want to start a business, especially a healing one. There's something that feels weird when you first start because you're helping people. A charge for it is kind of feels uncomfortable a lot of times. And I love how you mentioned that, money is really energy. It's not even real, actually, when you think about it. It's, so it's so much of what's holding us back a lot of times from. And when the other thing you said, which I completely relate to, is when you start doing it for free, is because I'm talking to students about this right now. Yeah, it feels good at first, but when it starts to feel like you just sort of it starts to feel like an energy drain that you're not, then it's time to add the money piece in. But it's also hilarious how being an entrepreneur just puts you up to your shit every single day. Your stuff just comes up when you suddenly decide to be an entrepreneur and put your own creative heart out there. It's amazing. So share with me about, so tell us about meditation. So not everybody who's listening knows what it is, how to do it. A lot of people there's tons of misconceptions out there. I don't have enough time. I can't block my thoughts or whatever. So share away. The stage is yours. Enlighten us.
Yeah. So I guess I got to a point, like I said, I had anxiety. Stress was a big component of what led me to meditation, quieting my mind, all of that. So when I started very simply with, just following my breath work. I did a lot of CDs at that time. CDs was what we bought.
That's right. Those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever, MP3.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of the nature sounds. So just a lot of that. And, it would help me relax pretty quickly. So I would use those a lot in the beginning, sort of like relaxation meditation techniques. But pretty quickly I started like getting this feeling that it was a Band-Aid almost, like, okay, I can listen to this track or like go to my breath and feel relaxed for those 5, 10, 15 minutes. But nothing in my life was changing. And then I would still get to the point that I was like, crazy. And like, so it was just felt like this vicious cycle almost like, I was just Band-Aiding the real problem. So that was a pivotal point in my meditation journey. I noticed, because I started saying, what's up with this? Why does this feel so unfulfilling, my practice? And it really took me on this path of discovering several different types of meditation and really what meditation is in its essence. So I came up with this system that I call it meditation for transformation. And it's really composed of, I would say, 3 main types of meditation. Mm-hmm. So back to your question, what is meditation? I mean, for me, there's many different practices. They almost say it's like the word sports. There's many different types of sports. There's many different types of meditation. So knowing what meditation you need at that time that will help you, I think, is super important.
Huh. Genius. I never thought about it that way before. I love that. Yes.
Most people turn to, I would say, is mindfulness. Mm-hmm. And with mindfulness, you have the 2 components. You have that focus, so where you're just focusing your attention on, so in the beginning, I was kind of doing more focused stuff. I was focusing on my breath. So that was allowing me to find peace, because I was coming back to the present moment, getting out of my head. Even those nature sounds, I was finding peace because I was getting out of my head and into the moment on a nature sound or whatever the anchor was. So that's one component of mindfulness. The second component is sort of insight or truth. So what was happening for me is I was numbing out from every problem in my life, in those moments of coming back to myself, but I wasn't uncovering truth in my life. So there were so many things that I was doing to create my own pain, to stay stuck, in these relationships that kept repeating, that were making me unhappy, or not pushing out of my comfort zone in work. So then I was unfulfilled at my job. And, so instead of numbing, what I had to start doing was facing that pain, that discomfort, and really looking for how I was keeping myself stuck, my patterns. And that's sort of the second part of mindfulness, to really learn how to be with your difficult feelings and emotions so you can really uncover the wisdom that's under that, because that's all guidance for you to create change in your life. So that's really where I started. And then the other meditation, I don't need to get into it, but that's always the basis. But then I say there's also reflection practices, which I sort of consider that's when you're feeling stuck and you need to delve deeper. So for me, that's the I Ching, that's tarot, any oracle system. Journaling is really powerful. That asking yourself really, tough questions and allowing yourself to come to the truth of that. And then the final one I teach and use in my own life is visualization. So eventually, if you want to create change in your life, you're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to take a scary action that's out of your comfort zone, that's different than what you've been doing to stay stuck. Visualization is very powerful. Practice it in your mind first. Know what you want first. See it, feel it, practice it in your mind, and then it'll become much easier to take the action and change your life. So those are the 3 types of meditations I use and teach. So yeah, meditation is a lot of different things.
Wow. And, thank God there are people like you to actually lead people along that journey, because I think a lot of people start out with the great intention. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do it 20 minutes a day. I'm going to focus on my breath. And then they drop it because they don't think they're doing it right, or uncomfortable feelings come up, especially if they do it steadily for, a month or 2. Then they notice in those quiet times that suddenly they're like, why am I suddenly thinking about what happened in 3rd grade? What's happening to me? And then they pack it away and run away from it, because we don't like to face pain. We like to just feel good all the time. So when you're working with someone and you're mentoring, what does that look like? What are some of the things you would do with people? What are, some of the programs you have?
Yeah, I just want to revisit one thing.
Yes.
Anybody is left. I like to get really complex with meditation.
Yeah.
But for anybody just starting out, the biggest thing, like you said, is a lot of people think they're doing it wrong because they cannot quiet their mind.
Yes.
And I want to just express to everyone, if you're just starting with meditation and either you've tried it and feel like you can't do it, or you're finding it hard and you're going to quit, I really want to emphasize the point of meditation is not to quiet your mind. Your mind is meant to think.
Thank you. Yes.
Your mind is its own thing, and thinking is what it does. It problem solves. It takes a lot of information in from all your senses and processes it. So it's a noisy, sort of wild animal, if you will. So your job is sort of to rein it in and to learn how to work with it so that it can kind of do its thing powerfully, which is think, process, but not control you, because you are not your mind. So if you have thoughts, know that's part of the process. Your only job is to, if you have the anchor, let's say it's your breath, focus on the breath. The mind wanders, bring it back. Mind wanders, bring it back. That is the practice of meditation. It's not clear all thoughts and be blissful. That could be a side effect, and that could happen sometimes, but it's not the point. So if that doesn't happen, you're not doing it wrong. You're simply strengthening. Every time your mind wanders and you come back to the breath, you are strengthening that meditation, that focus muscle. So know you are doing it right.
I love that.
That's sort of the caveat I wanted to say.
No, I'm so happy you said that, because even in my own practice, there are some days where my mind is way more noisy than others, and I'm doing it. And at the end I'm like, wow, that sucked. But it didn't suck, because I still am in the practice, and it's still, some days my mind is quieter, some days it's not, but I still keep up. Someone said it was kind of like working out. You go and work out at the gym for a day, you're not going to see any difference. You work out steadily, consistently over time, you're going to see definition. Some of your workouts are going to be not very good. You'll feel like, boy, that was shitty. Other workouts will be like, I feel like a superwoman. But at the end of the day, I love that. So thank you for sharing that.
100%. And everyone can meditate. Some people I can't meditate. It's helpful if you find the right type of mindfulness for you. Some people don't like to sit and they want to be more active and walk. You can do mindful walking. You can do mindful eating. So find something that works for you and start there, I would say too. So I just really wanted to get that caveat so people weren't scared off, because I'm
no
visualization,
yeah
tarot.
I love it. No, it's okay. You're speaking, the people that'll probably listen to this are in my community and they wouldn't be scared of you at all or what you were saying at all. They get it. It's great. And they're probably just like eating up everything you're saying. So it's awesome. So just address the not enough time. Because I know that's probably, you hear that all the time with clients, right? When you're mentoring them, like, Dana, I really try, but I just don't have enough time for this meditation stuff. What's your answer to them? Did you hear that a lot, first of all?
Yes. I'm like the nice answer or...
Yeah.
I would say, really?
Yeah.
Are you being honest with yourself?
Good. You're tough mama. I like your tough mama about it. Like, really tough love here. Come on.
Yeah, because I think everyone sort of knows on some level that's an excuse because you have enough time for what's a priority in your life. So if you're saying you don't have enough time, it simply means it's not a priority. So what I would ask is, okay, fine. Do you want to meditate? Is that important for you? And then they'll say yes. And I'll say, then, you might not find time in your schedule, but you're going to have to make time. So where can you carve out? And really, I mean, I'm talking 5 minutes to start. I think so. I would say half of my work is giving people tools. The other half is really helping them integrate it into their life in a way that feels easy and natural for them. So I always say start where you're at. So you might want to just start by, 5 minutes, 3 days a week. And then when I say that, people are like, yeah, like they laugh. They're like, yeah, I have 5 minutes, 3 days a week,
Yeah, you call
and
them
then
up.
expand on that. So you really want to start simply and slowly, but commit to it. So schedule it in how you would schedule any other appointment. And if you're like, 5 days a week, that feels too much. Do something that really feels doable, that you almost have to laugh and say, I can do that. Because then you build on that and you sort of build that, like, I did it, like winning muscle, instead of like, I failed, and then you're more prone to stop. So I would say start slowly, start where you're at.
Awesome. Can you explain a little bit of what I Ching actually is? Because I know, what it's a type of divination tool. It's a type of kind of like tarot, I believe. It cuts through our inner mind chatter and gets at our own intuition. Is that accurate how it works?
Yeah, so it's a tool, and that's how I use the tool. I think it's considered a book of wisdom. So if you were to just read the book from front to back, it's broken down into 64 hexagrams. So tarot has
78 cards.
78 cards, exactly. So these 64 hexagrams are sort of 64 different cycles of change that we can all experience. And it's sort of like that's complete. So at any moment in your life, you're experiencing one of those. So it sort of is one of those things, but there's a lot of lessons built in about how to be. They use like the wise man, or, they probably mostly do the masculine, but the wise person. So it's how to build your character, how to be the best you can be. So if you just read it from, front to back, you would get a lot of wisdom just by learning how to deal with life and how to build your character and cultivate yourself in this sort of best way possible. But you can also use it as a divination tool, which would be, casting. I guess we don't really have to get into that, but just how you would pick the tarot cards. You would do a cast. So you would ask a question, you would come to a place where you're feeling stuck. So I always have people fill out a questionnaire, because even just going through those questions for themselves gives them a lot of clarity, and it gets them really clear on where they're stuck. Because you do want to come with somewhat of a clear mind, because if not, it's going to be hard to interpret the reading for yourself. That's why I act as a bridge and I help people. I'm happy to teach people to do it themselves, but a lot of people confuse themselves more because they're not grounding first. They're not clear on what they want to know. There's a lot of distraction in that. But yes, you ask a question, you do a cast, and you come up with the hexagram. So usually 1 or 2 hexagrams. There could be a potential future hexagram that comes up, which just means that's the direction you're heading. You have the power to change it if you don't like it, but it's just showing the energy that you're putting out there that will soon come to fruition. So if you like it, great, keep doing it. If not, let's change something. And it really does shine. It'll tell you, it always tells you where you're at so that you can sort of resonate with it. You're like, yes, it's listening. It knows. You get this almost like magical feeling like, whoa, that's what I was thinking and feeling. And then it'll always shine some light on some blocks. So maybe some things you're doing that are keeping you stuck, or some things you need to do to get unstuck, or ways you're thinking that are out of alignment. So it's always going to shine a light on a block if you've come to it because you're stuck, and then it'll give you a future one if that's, if you're far enough energetically along to be creating a future sort of energy.
And I can speak to that personally. I loved my session with you, and I felt it was really cool because you do the casting before you hop on the call with someone, which I thought was really interesting and cool. And then you spend the hour, which was amazing. So highly recommend that people connect with you on that.
I always like, we do the divination piece, but I ask a lot of questions, and I'm like, this is what the I Ching says. What do you think that means for you?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's about allowing you or the client to figure it out on their own. Because, I don't know about you, but I've been to psychics where I did not resonate with what they said.
Yes.
Didn't make a difference in my life.
Not at all.
Wrong, but if you don't resonate, you're going to resist it.
Yeah.
So it's baby steps. We have to, and that's what the I Ching does, and that's what I help. It gives you like the next thing you need to know, because if it's too many steps ahead, most people shut down.
That's so true. I tell people that all the time. If they start looking at sometimes you need to look at the big picture. You need to step back to calm down, because if you're taking care of too many details, it's overwhelming. But more often than not, we need to let go, just step out of the big vision for a sec, just because it then, if I think of, I want to, be a public speaker, a published author, you think about the published book on the shelf. It just seems like too impossible. But if you do the little baby steps, I'll, start writing my first outline or whatever. So I love that. So I have a kind of a philosophical question, but I love this question for people. If you had one message to leave the world, just one thing that you just want to shout on the rooftops as your last thing to say to humanity, what would it be?
I always love to see what just pops up in my head.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it was so simple, and it was like, you've got this.
Yay.
And I think it's back to my belief that so many people think they're not enough, and they just don't step into their gifts in life. And it's such a shame, because that's what's going to heal the world. More people stepping up and stepping into their gifts. I truly believe that everyone is here for a purpose. We're all special, and we all have this really very specific purpose for ourselves. And it doesn't even have to be our career, but it's just us living in that purpose and that passion place, and that place where it's our sort of zone of genius, where we can add to the collective. But self-doubt always kind of knocks people down from there. So you've got this was what came up for me, but really keep following that whisper, that thing that you're feeling like you've got to do. And when the doubt comes up, really find the tools to help yourself move through it. It's unfortunate. That's why, I teach what I teach with the meditation and the I Ching, because we're not given these sort of tools to help battle these kind of inner critics and to push out of our comfort zone and really feel safe and secure. So yeah, find the tools for yourself, whatever they may be, find them and use them so that you can really live in your power and give back to the collective, and just, help, sounds cheesy, but help heal the world, help us all sort of evolve and expand to this next place where I think we can all get to if we really all, get over our fear, get over ourself, kind of get over yourself. It's not about you, we're all connected. So bring it.
That is amazing. You actually got me very teared up as you were saying that whole, the cheerleader to the world. I love your message. Thank you so much. So first of all, what's coming up for you in terms of what are you offering? Is there a challenge? Is anything coming up for you in the next while you can share with people? Or how they can work with you?
Yeah. So the newest thing that I'm super duper excited about, I just launched it this month. It's a easy way to work with me. And it's a membership program. So it's my Moon and Meditation monthly membership program, or monthly support circle. So each month we do a Moon and Meditation ritual, usually around the full moon, because that's really where I like the potent energy. But we'll see each month, what feels the best time to do it. But it's one monthly Moon and Meditation call where we go deep. So many people, even if they get to a point where they're doing 5 minutes a day here and there, They're not taking their practice deeper. They're not connecting to their intuition on a regular level. They're not checking in to see if they're on their path still, or if they've shiny object syndrome has sort of pulled them off. So this is really a time to come together to yourself with a group of supportive women to just reground, regroup, connect with your intuition, get into a dialogue with the divine and your inner wise woman, which I like to call her, or intuition, your soul, and really see what messages have you been missing on go, go, go mode for the last month. And, most people, they readjust where they're moving. They get this big aha of something they need to create. So a lot of magic happens on these, 60 to 90-minute calls where we're doing this work, and I'm inviting you to go deeper once a month. And then there's I'm building it out a lot of other things. So we have a Facebook group, and I'm doing Mindfulness Mondays, Wisdom Wednesdays. You can get an oracle card pulled. I'll do a guided meditation once a week. So there's a lot of elements that I'm adding and expanding on as the months go on. So that I'm really excited about. Also, I always have one-on-one I Ching sessions, one-on-one meditation mentoring sessions. So if anybody's looking to start the practice, they're struggling, we have a conversation of where you're at, what you want out of your practice, and I really help you design a practice that will really fit nicely into your lifestyle based on your time commitment that you can do now, the benefits you want, all of that, and what you like, because that'll really dictate the best meditation for you as well.
That sounds incredible. So how do people sign up? They go to danagarced.com. Is that where, and they can sign up for the monthly that's starting now? You've already launched it?
Yep. So it's a monthly program. So really anyone can jump in anytime they want.
That's fantastic.
So, danagarced.com, and then the work with me, and you'll see all my offerings there.
And they can you're on Facebook. Are you on Instagram as well?
I'm on Instagram. Keep it super simple. Dana Garced. And again, back to simplicity, Dana@danagarced.com. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Happy to answer them.
Awesome. We'll have that all available in our show notes. Thank you so much, Dana, for your time today. I truly adore you, as you know. You're fantastic, and I'm so grateful that you spent time with us today to share your wisdom and your amazing words. So have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.